Imagine a place called the City of Silk. In this city, the ground was padded with velvet. The weather was always a perfect 70 degrees, and no one ever failed at anything they tried. Life was effortless. But there was a strange side effect. The people of Silk were as fragile as bubbles. A single harsh word could make them weep for days. A minor cold would keep them in bed for weeks. Because they had never faced a storm, they had no roots. In this city lived a young man named Kyle. Kyle had a perfect life, but he felt a constant, hollow anxiety. He felt like a ghost haunting his own existence. One day, a freak fire destroyed his home and everything he owned. For the first time, Kyle faced adversity. He didn't know how to breathe through the pain. He felt shattered, convinced that his life was over. Desperate for answers, he traveled to the Valley of Stone, a place avoided by everyone in the City of Silk. There, the wind howled and the ground was jagged and hard. He found an old woman named Silas, who was tending a garden of what looked like iron roses flowers that grew in the cracks of solid rock. Master Kale cried, his voice trembling. Why did the universe take everything from me? Why am I suffering while others live in comfort? I want to return to the silk. I want to be safe again. Silas didn't look up. She was pruning a stubborn branch. Safety is a beautiful lie, Kale. In the City of Silk, you were not living. You were merely waiting to break. You were like a muscle that never lifts a weight, useless when the real work begins. She pointed to the iron roses. Do you know why these are the most beautiful flowers in the world? Because they had to fight the stone to reach the sun. The resistance of the rock is what gave them their strength. Without the hardship, they would be weeds. This is the secret of the soul. We often think of hardship as a mistake, a cosmic error that we must fix or escape. But Stoicism teaches us that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Hardship is not a wall, it is a weight room. It is the only place where the spiritual muscle of resilience can be built. Silas told him the story of a great oak tree. The tree grew on a lonely cliff, exposed to the fiercest gales. People pitied the tree, wondering why it had to endure such turmoil. But what they didn't see was that every time the wind tried to tear the tree down, the tree responded by driving its roots deeper into the earth. The wind didn't make the tree weak. It made the tree unshakable. Your pain, Silas whispered, is the wind. It is asking you a question. Will you let me blow you over, or will you use my force to grow your roots? This was Kale's epiphany. He realized that the fire hadn't destroyed his life, it had destroyed his fragility. It had burned away the velvet walls that kept him from seeing his own power. He began to understand that tranquility isn't the absence of trouble, it is the internal mastery over it. He stayed in the Valley of Stone for a year. He learned to love the struggle. He learned that every time he felt despair, he was actually standing at a threshold of a new kind of wisdom. He realized that a person who has never suffered is a person who has never truly met themselves. When Kale eventually returned to the world, he wasn't looking for a perfect life anymore. He carried a sense of control that was quiet and deep. When things went wrong, he didn't scream at the heavens. He simply looked at the challenge and said, "Thank you for the lesson. Now show me how strong I can become." This is the message for you today. You may be in the middle of a fire. You may be facing a loss, a heartbreak, or a failure that feels unbearable. You might be asking, why me? Stoicism invites you to change the question. Ask instead, what is this trying to teach me? What root is this forcing me to grow? Hardship is the great alchemist. It takes the lead of our suffering and turns it into the gold of our character. Do not pray for a life without trouble. Pray for the endurance to use the trouble as your greatest teacher. The stone is hard, but you are the rose. The wind is fierce, but you are the oak. Your scars are not signs of weakness. They are the metals of a soul that refuse to break. Embrace the struggle, love the lesson. For it is only through the dark of the soil that we find the path to the stars.